Sergio, David. I kind of forgot our names right there real quick. But also because we live in SD.
Yeah, the 619 area.
619 area.
House of Rey Mysterio.
House of Rey Mysterio. House of Dr. Seuss up in La Jolla.
Yeah, Dr. La Jolla. Memo the Mafioso, the rapper.
I actually don't really know a lot of famous San Diegan people.
I don't think there really is, man.
But
I mean, probably, no offense, but
yeah, maybe so.
If I don't know you, then
no hard feelings. I just haven't done my research.
And seriously, I probably won't.
So
being honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix my mic real quick. Sorry about the. Anyways, all right. So I guess we should just do backgrounds and interests. So my name is Sergio. I go by Sir sometimes too. And then things that I'm interested in: architecture, urban planning, music, as you can tell by the venue. And actually, I enjoy reading. I want to be more productive. That's kind of what I'm interested in, and I want this podcast to be kind of more like deeper meaning things, where I can come and kind of get a epiphany of concepts that maybe I didn't pick up earlier. What about you, David?
Yeah, jack of all trades. I love music. I like to sing. I like to make my own music. I like sports a lot. Club America, obviously, we all know that's the best one. And Real Madrid as well. Man, that's kind of, I'll be honest, very simple in that aspect. It's like to self-better every day, self-care. Gotta make my money. That's the only way.
That's true. Actually, I forgot to add that I'm also into sports, and he forgot to add that he writes poems too.
I do.
Some very good ones.
Poetry.
So explain how this idea of the podcast came for you, and then I'll explain my side.
Honestly, it just came up. It started off on a live video. I would just go live on Instagram, and I always had so many questions to ask. But before the live started, it was just us sitting in a car after church at a Starbucks or wherever we were at. When you just started asking questions like, "Hey, well, how do you even get at a girl? What is the correct way?" Because keep in mind, we grew up in a Christian household where many of the things that we learned, they kind of just stick to us.
Actually, I wasn't even told how to get at a girl.
No, I mean, me neither. I kind of just figure it out as you go.
That's true.
So it was just questions like, well, what's the correct way? How are we not gonna offend? Oh, God in that aspect. So those questions just started coming up, and then it just had a lot of deep meaning. So I started going live on Instagram and just asking random people like, "Hey, what's your opinion on this? Hey, what's the best way someone can approach you?" And then from those responses, we'll just have I would say a discussion. We would both be listening to to their own point of views in that sense, and kind of just blew up. Started putting Sergio in there. We would get 40 viewers, 50 viewers, at max, and many people just told us, "Hey, you guys should drop a podcast." And I was really thinking about it, and then now we're here.
Yeah. We don't really have a lot of followers. Meaning, like, we don't have like 1,000, 2,000. It's really just 200, maybe max 300. I mean, I follow more people than than I have followers.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in other people than how many people are following me. But anyways, the point is that's gonna pick up if you go, but it's all good. We just keep growing. This is not professional. It's just a podcast between bros.
This is a podcast between bros.
So the way that I got into podcasts, my church had a podcast, and I was really into it. It was really deeper conversations like religion, and it would get controversial if you didn't know how to express your religious opinions. Also social and political views, and it was a lot. So anyways, that didn't work out, and so the producer and myself, Eden, the producer, and then myself, we were like, we thought we should make a art podcast about art, creatives, things we're interested in, music. And then it was just really hard to do. So he was like, man, I gotta it's actually really for the same part. We were both broke, and then now it's like, damn,
We're broker.
yeah, we're broker. So
We went from being on the struggle meal at McDonald's to not even the struggle meal, man.
we went from going to McDonald's and getting 2 McDoubles to like kind of now we gotta go to Jack in the Box,
Get 2 tacos, man.
get 2 tacos,
Man, it's a struggle.
or yeah, there's nothing really worse than 2 tacos, huh? What else is cheaper? That's it.
Water.
I mean, yeah, I guess water, really.
I don't even
So,
know.
anyways, then David had this great idea. Hey, we should do a podcast, and we should. He was really interested in talking about a lot of our conversations in the car with other people was always about love and how do you talk to a girl and what's the best way, and it was really interesting.
Simping versus what was the word? It was simps.
Simping
Simping versus
simping versus having game. No, what was the? It was, yeah, I know, simping versus extraordinary acts.
yes. We had so many good topics.
We did have so many topics, but so anyways, that was the kind of the whole background of how then David said let's do it, and yeah, now we're here, man.
Simping versus declaring love.
Oh, simping versus declaring.
Extraordinary acts.
But we'll get to that later. So anyways, every time we talk about love, I would always use the Plato Symposium, because in that book he has philosophers. It's a story about philosophers that are having a conversation about praising love, and so in that conversation, many people disagree. No, that's not what love is. Actually, that's not how love is. And then in there, they use examples of how a guy gets at a girl. And so I would just ask David, what do you think about what they said here? So I guess we can just go ahead and start with that first thing about uh, this guy named Phaedrus. He says, love makes you feel shame and seek glory. What's your experience in that?
I've experienced many things.
Or do you agree?
And I do agree, because love is gonna it's gonna put you in a very uncomfortable situation. Because keep in mind, the the way it says it there, it says that love is glorious, and it's true. Love isn't something that you could just give. It's something that is earned.
Right.
Same thing as respect. It isn't given, it's earned. And the reason I say it's earned is because if you just give your heart away to someone and they don't value you, then what happens to that love? What happens to you? You end up losing that love, and you end up you're gonna put yourself in a very tough situation. That's why love is earned. That's why love is glorious. And the reason why he says it's gonna be hard is it basically says it in different words. It's gonna be hard because it's gonna put you in uncomfortable situations. It's gonna make you do things that you thought you never do. And as a guy, when was the last time you gave someone flowers? When was the last time you took someone a serenade? Or for a woman, when was the last time you gave a guy a gesture? When was the last time you did something for a guy?
David's more traditional. That's why he
Yeah.
says those type of examples.
I do. When was the last time a guy wrote poetry to a girl he likes? Or when was the last time a girl wrote poetry to a guy he likes? So it's gonna make you be in uncomfortable situations to win them over, to gain their love.
Right.
Because it's not something that's given; it's gained.
Right.
And I just can't argue there. In reality, it's a very good statement that he says. Because let's be honest with you, people are just getting way too comfortable, and they don't want to do those type of things.
I think so too.
And that's why there's a saying that comfort is a killer of dreams. Because the more comfortable you are, the more lazy you become, and the more lazy you become, your dreams are gone. You're lazy, you don't want to do nothing. So you can't be lazy in love. Because if you're lazy in love, that significant is gonna bounce. It's gonna leave.
I will say this, because I agree there. I do also think that when he says love makes you seek glory and feel shame, if you don't get the girl, you're gonna feel shame. You're gonna be like, damn, I didn't get her. But the point of getting the girl is gonna make it feel worth it. Right. So I feel that, yeah, like love makes you seek glory because you're gonna try as much at everything to get her. It's gonna give you so much motivation. But also, if you don't get her, and I think that's where that comes from too. Like, oh man, what if when you don't feel ready to get at someone, talk to someone, because you're already thinking in your mind, yo, what if she turns me down?
Okay, well, if she turns you down, then all right, cool. There's plenty of fish in the ocean.
That's true.
Not just that, cause and I like that about love, cause love is a very strong feeling that it will motivate you. It will make, cause if you really want to be with someone, you're gonna try to move heaven, hell, and earth for that person.
Everything, yeah.
Everything, literally. Let's say that person lives, I don't know, another state away, city, I don't know, border, whatever it might be, you know. But if you really want that person, you're gonna demonstrate it. You're gonna try to show them that you want to be with them. That it doesn't matter the distance. If it's it doesn't really matter. Because if that person wants to be with you, they're gonna try to do everything they
Right.
can. And I feel like that's where people are just becoming lazy.
You know, and that's where then the next guy that talks about love, he says conquest. So he says there's two loves. There's a virtuous and there's lust. Um, and, you know, for those that might not understand those words, virtuous is like the love that you love the girl for who she is, and then the lust is just
For her virtue.
you know for it's just for her
Body.
body, for her looks. And but he says conquest is noble and failure is shameful.
Conquest is noble. Failure is what?
It's shameful. And
Shameful.
so in he says that to then say about talk about extraordinary acts, to then say you are able to do, and you know, I think this is where that phrase comes from, everything is fair in love and war, and
Yeah.
in love do. So he explains in his part, do whatever you have to do, because as long as you get here, it's gonna be noble.
It doesn't. It's like there's a saying.
But if you don't get her, it's gonna be shameful. People are gonna look at you like feel sorry for you, you know.
And how, I mean, how many times hasn't that happened before? We all got that one tia. We all know this. We all got that one tia on every single Thanksgiving. Y la novia, mijo. You know, I don't want me personally. I don't want to be that guy, but I really don't. But it's cool. It's funny the way how people just misinterpret that thing right there. And there's a saying, work in silent and let your actions speak or your results speak, and it's true. Because it
Right.
doesn't matter it doesn't matter how you got to where you are. It just matters the result, whether
Right.
it be physique, whether it be money wise, financially, whatever, right? It doesn't matter how you got there. All matters is your results.
Exactly.
And in the long run, that's all that really matters. It's all depending on the results, what
Yeah.
you got from it. And here's the thing, I believe that even if you fail, I feel like you still learn something, and that's something that you can't take back. Because now, let's say you try to get the girl that you wanted, and it just goes miserably.
She just says no.
She just says no, and then she blocks you, whatever it might
Get
be.
out of here.
Get out of here.
Ew.
Ew. Oh, my best friend. Oh, that's such right there. You know, who cares? But here's the thing. Now you're gonna learn one thing. You're gonna learn your self value. You're gonna try to self value yourself. Now you're gonna be able to learn what type of person you want to be around.
How do you
Who do you?
take how do
How
you
do you
take
take?
no's?
Yes. How do you take no for an answer? And here's the thing. That's when you're gonna start growing. So I believe that even if you fail, you still learn, which makes you actually learn and makes you grow as a person.
I will say, yeah. I do have to say, or maybe, you know, this is something you can talk more about. But I was, you know, right now when you're talking about she's gonna say no, what if the guy's like, nah, she's the one. She already said no. What would you say to him? I feel I would say, and then yeah, I guess you could give your opinion. I would tell the guy, you know what, go back into the lab, blah blah blah, do, you know, take some time off, do this, do that, and then try again.
Well, cause
What
here's
do you
the thing.
say?
I feel like you gotta analyze it, cause it's just being realistic. You know, there's sometimes where there might be a guy who's trying to get out of number 10 out of 10. You know,
That's true.
and here's the thing. It might not work. It might work, but here's the thing. You gotta put yourself in their shoes. Would you date you?
That's true.
And that's what it comes down to. Would you date you? Are you hardworking? You're not hardworking. Are you good looking? You're not good looking. Okay, cool. But what can you do to fix those things to actually date you?
Right.
Because many people just have a lot of self hate towards themselves,
That is good, right?
and I feel like that's why they're not where they want to be. But here's the thing: they just blame it on other people. Like let's just give you two examples, all right? We got person one, the guy that got rejected by his crush, right? And he just never tried to get her again. He never fixed himself. He stayed in the same situation. He just never grew. He still did the same old habits. All right.
Right.
He tries to get her again. It's not gonna work. But then you have the other guy who got rejected. But he, instead of crying and whining and going to other girls, he went inside the lab. Like you said, he went inside the lab. He went into the kitchen and he started cooking. He started making, all right, I gotta fix this. I have a bad temperament. All right, I'm gonna fix it. I have problems. I'm gonna go to therapy. I have faith problems, like religious problems. I'm gonna go to church. So he starts making a small little change every single day. So and it comes to the point where he's basically unrecognizable. So he's gonna go to the girl again, and chances are that she sees the change that the guy did, and yeah, there you go.
Right.
But many people don't do that. Many people just give up, and they go back into their old habits. They go into bad habits.
Yeah, or they don't see their
They don't
what
see
the
their
thing that they need to
value.
improve in.
They don't see their value as a person. And here's the thing: that's why many people have a lot of self-hate.
Okay. Actually, I agree with it. I agree with what you said. I do definitely agree with you definitely have to, improve on yourself, cuz you already know what it's going to take to get a girl.
I heard this yesterday, and it says, if you know where you want to be tomorrow, the decisions you make today count. And it kind of stuck to me because
Right.
the decisions I want to make tomorrow, I already have an idea. I already have an idea of what car I want to drive. I already have an idea of the house I want to live in. I already have an idea of the person I want to be my wife. But are my decisions helping me get there, or they aren't? That's where it comes to just self-analyzing things. That's where many people give up. They don't start doing that until it's way too late.
Okay, I don't think people really are hard on themselves, and they definitely do need to realize if you're gonna get a girl, you already know what that's gonna the energy is gonna go into,
Right.
the time, all those things, and also to understand that you will need to do something extraordinary
Now,
to show her that you're not gonna mess around with it.
now here's the thing. I feel like extraordinary act is different to every person. Because
And I think
maybe,
that's where the
and this
conversation
is
would be like, what's the difference between simping and doing something
because
extraordinary?
keep in mind, I feel like extraordinary acts, I feel like many people see it as different things. Maybe that significant, that other person, they see that you drove on or flew God knows how many hours or
Right.
whatever, right? And they might see it as
You
he,
spend money, time.
he spent money, time, or oh, he came to visit me. There's both ways.
Yeah.
There's like two scenarios. So it just kind of depends on. I feel like you just gotta get to know that person to see what is something that you feel like would be an extraordinary act for her. Because maybe if you go visit her or whatever, him, and he was like, oh, she came,
Right.
and it's like nothing. But if someone's actually like appreciates it and really takes time to spend time with you as well, yeah, cool. Then that's awesome. Then that's an extraordinary act that worked.
I would that was a key word, that it worked. I will say that you would have to know the girl to understand what she would be like.
I think it comes down to just extraordinary acts. It can mean a lot of things. I mean, dude, it just goes on a list, man. Because maybe you come from a background where you grew up on showing affection to your mom and the fact that you give her flowers or you say good morning to your mom every day, right?
Right.
And that's the type of way that you show affection. But many guys, they don't come from that background.
They don't.
Probably didn't have that example. So that's gonna put them in a very uncomfortable situation. As in for me, that's very uncomfortable for me. It really is. It's not something I do on the daily. But if I want to get something, if I want a girl, then I'll probably do it.
That's true. I will say that when it comes to extraordinary acts, you're gonna have to put yourself in a situation that you're not comfortable with. So one of the examples that I always find cringy, um, it might even happen. Well, maybe not around this time, but in the summer, promposals. Because now you have to ask the girl out in front of the whole school. I didn't have to ever like. I did see my friends do that. I didn't go to prom, by the way, but I did see my friends do that, and some of them she said yes, some of them she said no, and you kind of have to, I guess, take it. If she says yes, she says no. You have to just have confidence in yourself. So you're gonna have to do extraordinary acts. Some people might call it simping, and that I would say simping might be when she doesn't show interest and you continue.
And you just continue.
You just continue.
You're just there. You're just there like a dog.
It just gets annoying, honestly, after a while.
And honestly, kind of disappointing as well.
Yeah, it's true. But I think extraordinary act, if you went, because look, if you get her, nobody can tell you nothing.
It's like, I feel like every guy at least should once try an extraordinary act. And if it doesn't go, or she reciprocates you, or she meets you, maybe she does. She meets you halfway.
Right.
Maybe she, let's just an example, right? Maybe you go visit her, right? And she asks for a day off. Boom, she's meeting you halfway.
She's doing something.
She's doing something. Or what happens if she comes all the way over here or wherever you're at?
Right.
She's already meeting you halfway because there's interest. But you have to start it. You can't start a race without literally taking the first step.
That's right. I do agree with that. Extraordinary acts are always, I know David has extraordinary acts that I look at. I'm like, damn, I can't believe he did that. I'm impressed. And I have extraordinary acts that I'd be like, man, I can't believe I did that. Like, how did I even think of that?
And like I said, you missed all the shots if you don't even try to take them. You have to at least do an extraordinary act once just to see where we're standing. And yeah, I mean, because you lose 80%, 90% of your shots. You lose all your shots if you don't even try it once. So I feel like you have to at least try extraordinary act once with that person.
Right.
Because maybe they might meet you halfway. And it's true. That's just an example, right? If you know that you are tight on money or time or whatever it might be, but if you make a sacrifice and just save up $20, just send her some flowers.
Right.
And she receives them, and then, boom.
I will say.
Maybe, or here's the thing, because maybe she might receive it as, oh, my best friend gave me some flowers.
Yeah, right.
And all right, cool. Now you know where you're standing, and now you know that she's not gonna watch it. But maybe she might receive it, and she might text you like, "Hey, thank you, got paid," or whatever it might be, right? And then she might invite you, or there might be a bit more of a connection.
Right. I will say, if you can't spend money, don't even talk to a girl. I would say, not because you need to spend money, but just because you're gonna have to, whether you want to or not. I would say a good date would be like someone like me, that I love architecture and I love urban planning. I would be fine just being taken out. Then that might sound weird because I'm being taken out, but I'd be fine with a girl that just wants to like go city, go sightseeing. That'd be really cool. I mean, a lot of girls here in San Diego, most of their pictures are sunset cliffs. You don't even do anything there, but just watch the water and have a convo, which I think that's the most important thing, right?
I think that's what makes it. I feel like for me as well, I feel like if the conversation is good, then I might stick around.
Right.
But if there's no conversation and it's just attention from each other, begging for attention, then it's not a relationship. I wouldn't.
So I've gotten advice, and even I've heard advice based on a couple of podcasts. Take her to Dave and Buster's. Take her to amusement parks.
Right.
That's fine. You can spend money, and she's gonna probably enjoy it because you guys are going on rides and things like that. But you also need to work on the conversation aspect of it, because it might just be, I went to Disneyland with someone that I don't know. Yeah,
There
I
was no
didn't even
conversation.
no conversation.
It got
Did not
boring.
get to know him. The only fun part was the Disneyland. You know, like it's supposed to be fun because you're with her or
Right.
she's with you.
And I agree there in that aspect because if there's not gonna be no conversation, then are you really even knowing the person? It's like I remember the saying that you said, I don't want to just face. I'm actually want to FaceTime.
Right.
You want to spend time face to face with that person.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, anyone can hide through social media. Everyone can hide their personality through social media, and it's true.
Everyone can talk in social
Everyone.
media,
Here's the thing: no one is scared to send a message.
but in
But in
person,
person,
it's a different
it's a
story.
whole different story. And that's what I'm like, all right, cool, but I wouldn't want to spend my time with you.
Yeah.
In
Look,
that
in
sense.
person, that girl's gonna say no. More likely, not more likely, but more confidently.
Because
In person, she might have to say, you know what? Let me give him a chance.
I'll try it out.
Let me see you.
But here's the thing: online, everyone can lie too.
Everyone
Man.
could lie too.
Everyone
Yeah,
can
that's
lie.
true.
There's a saying that women use makeup because that's what attracts men because it like it indulges their eyes
Right.
to see them, and men lie because it indulges their ears. And that's why I feel like that's why many guys lie.
It endorses their years.
Yeah.
Oh, like it makes them seem.
It makes them seem like, oh, he has money. You know what? I might be interested in that guy.
That's true.
Or a guy, oh, she has a very nice features. All right, I like that.
Yeah,
girl,
yeah, yeah.
You know?
That's definitely true. So, just to wrap up this segment about extraordinary acts, I think you do need to take a shot. You do need to take a risk.
Oh,
And
at
look,
least once.
if it goes bad, you go back to the lab. You say, you know what? At least I did it. Look, one of the best advice that I've heard is you need to get rejected so that then you're not scared of getting rejected anymore. You already did it. You already did get rejected. You're not.
Right.
Yeah. How are you gonna be scared now? Like you did it.
I feel like you just gotta do extraordinary acts, man. And even if maybe she does receive it, but you have a different intention with that person, do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Do it better.
Unless they tell you, I'm calling the cops on you. Yeah, then you run. Then block. No more conversation.
Yeah. Then she's not
Then
interested.
she's not interested.
And then for sure she's never gonna be interested.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, there's a balance to everything. You just gotta find, not do too much, not do too little,
That's a
and
sweet spot you gotta find.
and at that point you kind of do have to figure out what does she like, what would she like. If everybody's doing proposals, I knew that there was a girl that I was in high school and I was asking around, like, because I thought proposals were really cringy.
Yeah.
And I asked her, "Hey, what would you feel about proposals?" She's like, "Do I hope the guy go with prom never does that?" And then the guy that went with her just really, I think, texted her or asked her just like this, like, "Hey, let's go to prom."
Let's go to prom, bro.
He didn't do. Maybe she would have been. Maybe she would have said yes either way, but he took into consideration something she's more comfortable with.
Yeah, her feelings as well.
And for her, that was like, hey, you know what? He asked me the way I would have wanted to. So, by the way, I didn't even help the guy. He just did it like that. I think maybe he might have asked around like, hey, so, it happens.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on what the person is, because man, there's a lot of factors that go into extraordinary acts, man.
But do them, huh?
But just do it. I mean, let's be honest with you.
I would say definitely ask. For example, we ourselves are religious. We're Christians, so there's things we can't do. So for example, I can't really go. I can't bring a marching band to her house without asking her first, right? Or what do you think about that?
Well, here's the thing.
I would be like, I would have to be, hey, your dad cool with this?
Because I mean, yeah, to some extent, I feel like because we come from the background that we have to ask the parents first. But I mean, when I was living in Mexico, I used to take serenades with my friends. I wouldn't dedicate it to no one. We would just sing.
Okay.
So, is it bad? No, because it's demonstrating. It's showing the parents that you really want to be there. But is it in our best interest to do it? Yes,
Right.
that we have to.
I do think that you have to take into consideration a lot of things. Um, extraordinary acts are very hard. As I said, you can get the high reward. Her friends, her family, if it goes well, they're gonna say, "Wow, I can't believe that guy did that."
He really took. They'll literally
They'll
look at
praise
you
you.
and they'll say, "Man, I can't believe you did that."
And we as guys, if we see other guys doing it, we're gonna say, "You know what? That's what I should do."
And it's true. I mean, even before, I'll have this I'll have this as a little moment. I remember, this was last year in August. It was right after the Holy Supper. Or that's what we call it here, the Holy Supper for
That's
our
our
church.
that's our
That's
annual.
annual religious event. And I remember it was like 3 nights before the 14th, which is the day it celebrates it. And I was texting the girl, I'm like, 'cause she was in Mexico already with her family, because U.S. didn't get invited. And I just told her, how would you feel if I went to Mexico right now? And she said, that would honestly be super cool. I really want to see you. Yeah, yeah, bro. So I texted her best friend and I started planning something out. And her best friend came in clutch, but I had to plan something out. I'll be honest with you, I had $300 in my bank account, and I got the flight for the 16th.
I think you got it like
A
a couple of
day,
days,
a
right?
day
A
prior,
day
a
prior.
day prior. Like I was still debating. It was the 14th, the 15th passed by, and even the 15th, I was like, should I really go? Like I even told Sergio, I'm like, I don't even know if I should go. Like, is it even worth it? And then that's when he dropped the bomb on me. It's like, remember, there's a saying that when a guy there's when a guy does extraordinary acts, he's recognized. Whereas when a man doesn't do nothing, he's looked as a a shameful person, as a coward.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, oh man, yeah, I think I should. And I actually bought the ticket on the car as well. Like I saw the ticket, I'm like, oh, $100. All right, now I got $200 to spend. So that was the whole idea of it. Just shoot your shot. I went all the way over there. I had $300, but I didn't make it seem like I had $300. I didn't make it seem like I was there to waste money or nothing like that. I made it seem like I was there to spend time with her. And then, unfortunately, for my luck, I want to say, she got sick while I was over there, so I couldn't really hang out with her. But I wish I could have. But I tried to do everything I can. Even when she was sick, I offered to buy medicine, and I didn't have money. I offered to buy medicine. Whatever you need, you need to go to the clinic. I got you covered. I'll take you to the clinic. Whatever you gotta do, I'll take care of you.
He said, "I'll take you to my clinic."
I'll take you to my clinic.
But look,
It's just extraordinary acts, and till this day, I still talk to her. I actually just came back from visiting her, and it's just shooting your shot, putting yourself out there.
and now next time he does an extraordinary act, he knows how to do it with more confidence, better.
And the first time I'll speak this. The first time I did an extraordinary act was I was talking to this one girl like 2 years ago, and it was 10 p.m. She just texted me, "Hey, I know you're home alone. You won't come all the way to Mexico to see me." And I'm like, "Oh, are you daring me?" And she's like, "Yeah." I literally just packed a little backpack, the same backpack we have right here.
Shit.
Just put like extra pair of clothes. I called my cousin. I'm like, "Hey, I'm on my way to Mexico." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me crash your crib." All right. And yeah, I spent a whole day with her, and it didn't work out. But I tried it. They just didn't reciprocate what I was showing at the moment. You just gotta shoot your shot, see where you're standing, because you never know. You might switch.
That's right. So just to wrap that up, I know we've been long winded. It's because extraordinary acts. I mean,
I feel like that's a whole ass
it's
episode.
it's a whole episode. Really, I mean, it's just a lot to do. Look, at the end of the day, if you get her, guys are gonna maybe they're not gonna do it because it might be too much for them, but they're gonna be like, that could work.
It
That
could.
could that could work in my situation. because it worked in his. And also girls and the other sex party is gonna look and say, man, I can't believe he went that way and he did it. Like, if you get her, no matter what you did to get her, I mean,
I
if she
come,
says yes,
I
then
come. She
that's
says yes.
that, you know,
I come from
that's
the old,
it.
yeah. I come from the old school, man. I come from the, you know that one song I still Amarte la Antigua.
Right.
It's like Amarte la Antigua, llenarte de flores, cantarte canciones, dedicarte poesía. I feel like it's true because in reality, many people are just lazy. Like it really doesn't cost you that much to just buy some flowers and send them or give them to her.
Right.
It doesn't cost you that much to just sit down, even if you go on Google and just search up poetry
Right.
and just write something down on a piece of paper and give it to her. It doesn't cost you nothing.
It doesn't cost you.
But
It
here's the
doesn't
thing:
cost
many
you.
people don't want to do it because they're scared of rejection and failure.
Right.
That's why they're never gonna get the lady they want.
That's true. I will say that, just to wrap it up, I have been saying that twice. Extraordinary acts. You can think of it. Nah, that's too much. If I do that, she's gonna embarrass me in public. That could be one way of looking at it. It happens. Or it could be, if I do it and she says yes, everybody's gonna say, "Yo, that guy did
That
it.
guy's crazy.
He did it. He went. He went. He did extra. He did something extraordinary.
It's like the saying, "Go big or go home."
Go big or go home." It puts you in. It puts you in that space where, and it gives you great motivation, I would say.
Well,
Let's say last thing, and then I guess we'll move on to the next thing.
just said it gives you great motivation because what happens if you say yes? Whoa, now you have a girlfriend.
Right.
Boom, now you gotta work your ass off. Or it could go the other way. She rejects you. Boom, now you just go to the gym and you get jacked. There you go.
That's true. You know, there's no way to lose.
It's a win-win situation
Yeah.
here.
Now then in the book, there's another guy. This might be a little bit more boring, but if you want to skip it, we can definitely do it. He says, love and studies. So loving the things that you do, the things that your career, loving you know, if you love music, you're gonna hit it, you're gonna go it to the max. If that's boring, we could definitely skip it. But what do you think
Actually,
about
I like that a lot, actually.
loving what you do, or what you think your purpose in life is?
Because there's a saying is you gotta do everything with 100% effort. Because if you just do it with 10% effort, then we all know it's not gonna be good. And I feel like it just doesn't go just to what you love, but also to everything in relationships
Right.
wise. I work customer service, so if I don't, if my customer service is at a 10%, do you really think they'll come back to me for anything?
Heck no.
Hell no. They'll go to the other person that treated them 20%. But if I do 100% of an effort to try to keep them happy and satisfied, in the sense that I take care of them, what's gonna happen? Oh my goodness, David, he took care of me that day I went there. I recommend. I get referrals, right? So I feel like that's everything. You have to do everything that you love 100% with dedication, because that's the only way it's gonna grow. And here's the thing: even in love, with that significant other, you're gonna have to love whatever she loves.
That's true.
If you don't love whatever, because there's a saying, love won't come from someone who doesn't want to see you thrive, and that's true.
Maybe I wouldn't say love, but like support. If you don't support,
Support it. I feel like support and
yeah.
love go hand in hand.
I think over time you start loving it. I mean, there's things that I probably wouldn't enjoy, but because she likes them, you know what? Let me take a chance.
I remember listening to it was an older couple, and it was actually in church too. And I saw it like there's so many wisdom that is in church. Sometimes it just goes over our heads, maybe because
Right.
we're young, naive. We're looking for other things,
Material things. We only look
material
at
things.
material.
But the brother said, and I'll never forget this. He said, whenever you're getting married, never tell your wife, "Oh, my mom cooked it this way."
Yeah. Nah,
Oh,
that's fighting words right there.
my mom did this.
Heck no, mama's boy.
Mama's boy. He said, why? Because you guys are coming from different backgrounds. So whatever your wife does in the house, whether it be the way she cooks, the way she cleans, you're gonna have to love it and respect it and support it as well.
Right.
And I'm like, that's bangers right there. Cause I'm like, yeah. maybe you don't like the way she cooks. Okay, but she's your wife, so you're gonna have to get used to it.
That is true.
Just how it is. You're not gonna be seeing your mom every day.
Nah,
No.
actually, I think that's the point. Love and studies. If you want to get married, I would say, man, like,
Learn about them.
that question has been popping in my head for a minute, and the one thing I want to discourage anyone from doing is definitely don't get married and then be in a situation where now you're sharing
Your
a
bedroom
house
with your mom.
with a family member, your mom. It could be whoever you want, your brother, but that's why, like, love what you do. If you find out that, what, this is what I study and I don't really love it, I don't enjoy it,
All right, cool. Then pivot around and
yeah,
find something else.
find something else quick.
'Cause your time is running. That's the only thing we can't get back is time. Time is the only
Yeah,
thing that we cannot return. There is no refund for time. Time is the only thing that we cannot get back.
right,
Money comes and goes. Time, it just goes. It never comes back.
right.
There's a song. It's like an old song from Los Panchos. It's called Reloj Ingrato.
Reloj.
Reloj Ingrato. Because saying how the time just goes on and you can't be with that person. It just keeps on moving.
Yeah.
That's why he says, "Clock, please slow down your time so I can spend more time with her."
Mm,
Because that's the only thing we can't get back is time.
that's right. I will say that the right girl for you, she would live with you even if it's in your mom's room. If you have to share a room with your mom, but let's not get into that.
Ooh, that's a whole different topic, man.
But I'm just saying that, I've always been trying to avoid that. You know,
Yeah, man. I feel
I wouldn't want to be in that. I wouldn't want to see anyone in that in that situation.
I mean, maybe because you just jumped at it fast, you know. All right, cool. But as a man, I feel like you're expected to just you find a problem, figure it out. You gotta. There's a saying, "Hay que resolver," and that's
Right.
true. You know, like me personally, I wouldn't want to be the guy to live with his parents, having a wife and kids.
Yeah.
I'm not
Nah.
fulfilling my duty because as a man's duty, I call it the three P's: protect, provide, produce. It's protect, provide, produce, and also what's the other one?
You only said 3 P's.
Is it three P's or is it four P's?
4 P's.
It's the four P's, man. It's protect, produce, provide. No, it's three P's. Protect, produce, and provide.
And
So if I can't provide my significant other a house,
then that's it.
That's it. I'm already failing.
Damn. Now, like, I will say, I will tell you that, like, this is a great city. If you live in a big city, man, you have so many opportunities. You have many things to get at. So just try everything, right? I mean,
Just don't try drugs.
oh yeah, don't try illegal things, but
Don't try illegal.
anything that is legal, I would say try. I mean, we live in a big city. I mean, we have 1 million people in here.
It's beautiful.
Like countless jobs. You can. It doesn't. It's the same thing. You don't hurt by asking. It's a different love. You're gonna like, going back to extraordinary acts. You probably won't do that to get a job, the same way you get at a girl, but
Maybe you can. Maybe you do extraordinary act at your work and you get a promotion.
maybe you do. But I'm just
Maybe
saying.
you do.
But I'm just saying. More likely, you're gonna do the extraordinary act to get the girl than the promotion.
Then the promotion.
Because you might be like, nah, I wouldn't do this for money or for my job. But there's definitely, you can definitely do that as well to get to a higher position. People take on great challenges, great risks, responsibilities, and some of they work out for a lot of people. They worked out.
It works out, yeah.
And that's been the starting point to something greater.
Alrighty. And then what's gonna be the next topic, man?
Yeah. Let's go to the next topic. Let's see. Oh, oh shoot! It fell. Hold up. Guys, give me a minute. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. I went all the way to the top. Okay, next topic. So Agathon is another guy. He said, love is beautiful, is young and healthy. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Love is beautiful, it's young, it's healthy. It's the prime of he was using that as like the prime of a girl, right? So in a girl, the girl's gonna be beautiful. She's gonna be young. She's gonna be pretty, and he says that's kind of what love is.
It is. There's just this was gonna be very simple and short. I remember our pastor here, when he was talking about love and marriage. There's something that I just kind of stuck to me, and I'm like, that's the type of relationship I want to have.
Right.
When he was speaking about his wife, he mentioned, I see many couples here that have many problems, and this is the way we cope with it. He said, we as a relationship, me and my wife, he said, I look at my relationship every day like if it was to be a honeymoon.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
And it kind of stuck to me, and I'm like, at first I didn't understand. I'm like, what's honeymoon?
I heard that too, and I thought, what do you mean? Like
Yeah.
honeymoon's only like maybe a week or two after the wedding.
And then it hit me. He's like, I see it every day as a honeymoon.
We never stop.
We never stop. And I'm like, oh, that's the type of love that I want to have. Because I don't want to just love to be momentarily.
Yeah, I wouldn't want me and my future wife to be really happy and
For
everything
moments.
is great for like that first month or whatever it is, you know?
No, I want the love like he said. I want it to be like in a honeymoon. I want it to be every single day.
I want her to be cautious and not get me upset, and then vice versa.
Yes. So it's like that's how I want to keep it short and simple. Yes, it is. Love is young. Because this is a thing. No matter, I've seen plenty of older gentlemen couples around. San Diego's beautiful. It's big. There's a lot of things. You get to meet a lot of interesting people every single day. And something that they always tell me is that their love
Died.
it has never died. Some
Never
people
died.
has never died. They're older. They're gentlemen. I mean, you can always speak to your grandparents maybe. Ask them how their love life, how they met their grandparents, how they met each other. And you can see, you'll probably fall in love with the story. I remember my grandma. She would always tell me before she went to sleep. My grandma had she had like, I'm not sure if it was an Alzheimer. We never knew it was detected. But every single night, she would always tell us how she met my grandpa, and she would always mention this because I didn't like him. I don't like him. I don't want to get married to him. But now they ended up married and they were happy. I remember even from a young age, I would see them very happy every single time. So yeah, young love is young, but love is forever.
I will say, I do agree. You know, there's beautiful aspects of love. In the book, Socrates then goes and says, "Well, how can love be young if or be beautiful if that's what it seeks?" So like, if love is beautiful, it's because it's not beautiful. Like it's what it wants. Or if love is young, or how can love be young if that's what it brings? And that's where it gets a little bit tricky. That's where I'm like, it makes sense logically. Like if something is ugly, it's gonna want to be beautiful. If something doesn't have love, it's gonna want to be loved. Um, that's where it gets tricky. That's more like for those that actually want to read the Symposium book. It's really interesting.
And there's a saying too. There's this regarding the topic of love. There's many people that have many qualities, right? But they have these type of defects. Would you be able to change them? Is a question.
Ah,
And here's the thing: if you want to change something, that isn't true love,
ah,
because nothing to take away nor to add. That's true love. Nothing to take,
right,
nothing to add. Just
right,
how it is.
exactly.
That's love,
And that's how you like it.
and that's how it's supposed to be.
And that's how it's
Because
supposed to be.
because in our idea, in our minds, we already make unsubconsciously, we already make an idea of how we want the other person to be.
Yeah,
But maybe she might have all the rest of the requirements except one,
right.
right? All right, cool. If you want to try to add it to her, that's not love, man.
No, there's definitely you add too much. Like no girl's gonna be perfect. She's gonna have a little bit more than other girls, but not everything you want. I think you will find,
Exactly.
and you're gonna have to decide:
Yeah.
is this the best I can get? and you know, go for it, I would say.
Yeah.
um Anyways, okay, in the next one, so anyway, Socrates then says like reproduction and beauty, right? So he's like, well, you know, the point is to reproduce, having kids. That's another topic. I think, you know, I think, you know, especially right here in the U.S., this economy sucks. So
It does.
it sucks so bad. But I do see a lot of young people. You know, my parents had 3 kids. They tried for 5. They got 3. I do see more older people having, you know, 7, 6 kids. Um, I do think reproducing is the point of also love. You
Right.
know, if you love something, if I love a woman, I'm gonna want to make. If I love, that's what my future wife. When I get married to her, I'm a lover. That I'm gonna want to make more people, more girls like her. You know, hopefully my daughters are like her. Hopefully she sees me and says, you know, I want to make future guys to be like him. I mean, reproducing. Um, I also understand you want to. There's older people that are say, well, no, I don't think having kids is for me. Obviously, they're thinking of the material thing, right? They're thinking of the having to change diapers, having to do all those
Having
things.
to spend lots of money, having to
Yeah,
doctor bills, this.
and like I said, this economy sucks so bad, so it does discourage people. But I do think when you look at it in the aspect of reproducing those future people.
I never really thought about that, man. I'll be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I want to have kids. I
So,
don't
for
want to have
example,
5.
if I love this chair, I'm gonna want to make it for everyone
Right.
to enjoy. Now, there's people that obviously now this chair might not cost the same because there's so many. So might not cost the same now if there's like a bunch like back here. But and so sometimes that philosophy is thrown out the window. It's like, you know, if we just make one chair, how much more is it gonna cost? But if you love it, I think you're gonna want to make a lot for other people to enjoy. As I see kids, if I love my wife, I'm like, you know what? If there was a lot of girls, daughters like her, I'd be beautiful. Maybe just to throw something out there for people who might be thinking like, I don't really want to have kids right now, or I don't really want to have that many kids. Just think about like if you really like your wife or your husband, the person you're with. Hopefully, you get to see you hopefully you get to see that person you love in your kids.
I've never thought about that like that.
That's what Socrates said. Yeah, I do think I'm like when I think about how many kids do I want. I don't know why 3 it becomes the number 3, maybe 2, but I never think of 5.
I want a basketball team,
But you know what I'm saying? I think older people,
man.
there was more kids.
I
There was
mean,
bigger families, I would
there was
say.
bigger families, but the roles were back then were way different
Very different, of course.
than what there are today, man. It's just that's a whole rabbit hole I don't want to go down to. That's literally a whole rabbit hole I really don't want to go into.
I would also so in that point I would also say if you love something you're gonna want to reproduce. Don't think of just the girl or the wife aspect. Think about what you love too. You know, if you love something you're gonna want to reproduce it. So if you find yourself not wanting to do anything, then maybe you stop doing it. Move on to something else that you would want to reproduce. Like I think I'm gonna love this podcast. I'm gonna want to do more.
We're gonna do more.
Um, Pause.
Hey.
anyways, this some we chose this all the way to the end. Um, Aristophanes, he talks before Socrates. One of the things he says is he gives a he gives his version of what humans were like before. Basically, like you and a girl,
There was 2 hands, 2 legs,
2 hands, 2 legs, 4. You know, 4 in total, 2 heads.
2 heads, and
Um,
they would constantly be making love,
Making love.
lust,
Yeah, love.
lust is the correct word.
So, you know, then he says that the god said, "Wow, these humans are being powered. po- they're they're growing in
They're
number.
lusting too much.
Yeah, they're lusting too much. Yeah, they're not growing in number, but they're getting stronger." And he splits them, or the gods split them. Right? These guys come from Greek, so they're how many gods they have,
The Zeus
split them.
split them up.
Zeus split them up, and he says that now subconsciously we're trying to find our other half. Do you think there is another half, or do you just think I'm just gonna the girl? There's no other half. I'm just going for a girl that is the best version that I could find.
I mean, you just said right there, just find the best version. There's birds. I don't want to.
No, you won't.
Like you mentioned, there's girls, but maybe they have personalities, and I feel like that fits in. So you are trying to find your other half that, because let's say you have a very hard temperament, right? You have a very aggressive temperament. We're gonna try to find someone that's gonna help you control your temperament, right?
Yeah.
So you are looking for a girl, but you're also looking for your half, the other half. Maybe not physically, because I remember reading that part. Oh, what the heck's going on here?
It was definitely weird though, the backstory.
And then he said that's why guys and girls they constantly fornicate because they're trying to fit each other to how the original bodies were. No, it's weird. But okay,
Yeah,
cool,
it's weird.
So yeah, you are always looking for your other half. You're looking for the other person that's gonna impulse you to get to the better version, or it's just gonna help you generate, or it's gonna motivate you, right? So you are looking for it. Maybe not in that aspect to see if your body parts connect each other,
right?
You know, but yeah, I do agree. You are looking for your other half, not just a random person, but you're looking for someone with qualities, the personality, the traits, the virtues. That's something that has to be very important, and I had to emphasize the virtues in a woman,
right?
And also in a man. So yes, you are constantly looking for your other half.
I will say that, in my opinion, you are looking for your half in the lot, right? So, well, a lot of the things that Plato says, I think the examples when you try to vision, obviously, two people fornicating and in that position, but like that's how they are with two heads here. Um, it can be kind of ridiculous. So when you think of like the explanation, not that it makes sense, but the reasoning behind it, it does make you think. I understand what he's saying. Maybe the example is not a good one, or it might be a little bit too exaggerated. I would
It
say.
is exaggerating, but
I would say
to some
though,
degree, I understand it.
just the aspect of finding the other half.
Because yes,
He's just trying to give an explanation that it's obviously exaggerated, ridiculous, I think.
right.
But I would say
He was a jokester.
yeah, he was definitely. Yeah, I would say he probably was definitely making a joke. I will say though, finding your other half. If you think you're gonna find a perfect half, I don't believe you're gonna find your perfect half. I do believe when you find your other half, you're gonna find someone that completes you, someone that helps you with the things that you struggle with. So I procrastinate a lot. This whole my other half, that's what she's gonna help me. She's gonna help me stop procrastinating, do my things,
Right. Be on point.
be on point. You know, I suck at uh communicating.
Right. That person to help you.
That person's gonna help me communicate.
So you are looking, and I feel like I understand what he's trying to get at, because finding your other half is like putting yourself in the original position before the gods separated you guys.
Right.
You're gonna be one.
Right. You're gonna be together both.
You're gonna be one.
You have to work together.
Exactly. You're gonna figure things out together.
She's gonna be used to solving problems one way.
And you're gonna have to figure out how to solve them another
You know,
way.
because there's girls that are both types. They're the you know what, I'm gonna go tell that person to shut up. I mean, you know, in other words, some girls are more aggressive than others.
Yeah.
Some guys are more aggressive than others, and that's just their way of being.
You just gotta find a way, and then it doesn't just come from one day to another.
It takes a while. It takes
gonna take
progress.
time. It's gonna take progress.
Yeah.
It's gonna take strength from both parties to do it.
So my mom and my parents have told me, you know, if you're gonna meet a girl, I would say give yourself 2 years to get to know her. A timeline. And to get to know her, to obviously those aspects, like to see if she more aggressive. Can you actually see yourself? And see yourself living with her, I've always thought of it like, can you see yourself not in a constant battle or in a constant fight because you don't like the way she is? You know.
I feel like many people, that's what they escape, because maybe lust gets to them.
Right.
And they just go into it. or yeah, they don't really take the time to get to know someone, and I feel like that's where they mess up, because that's what causes separation, whether it be matrimonies and relationships, causes separations, because maybe you didn't know that person how you thought you knew.
Yeah, maybe all you liked was the material thing.
Exactly, maybe there's a saying. That's why I mentioned this earlier today in the podcast. There's a saying that's why women wear makeup, because it indulges the guy's eyes, and that's why men lie, because it indulges their ear.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
when women run out of their beauty, that's when a guy will probably leave.
That's
And when
true.
the lady finds out that the guy's been lying to her, that's when they'll leave.
Right.
Or maybe they figure out that he's not what he said he was, they will leave. So you had to really take time and get to know someone in that aspect. And I have a whole ass conversation. I have a whole another conversation for that as well. Whether
We'll
it be,
save it for another podcast, or you want to get into it?
we have to save it for another podcast,
Okay.
and it's gonna be. I want to say right now, it's gonna be about the talking stage. It's
The
gonna
talking
be
stage.
the talking stage.
That's
is
true.
The talking stage, is it gonna be when you get to know someone, you're getting the one on one, or is that person competing against other 10 guys to try to get to know you?
That is true. You do have to know. The talking stage is super important, and you know, talking stage for me is more when you're gonna have something serious, not like a one-off, right? If that's what you're looking to do, then I don't think you really need a talking stage.
So I have plenty of talking stages, but they just don't go nowhere, or I don't see myself with
Right.
that person. So I kind of have a jack move from my part. I'll just ghost them. No closure.
Yeah,
Kinda
actually,
sucks.
if
So
it,
I gotta fix my communication skills there. I know that for a fact.
yeah, I've tried. I used to be like that. I used to ghost people. I used to just take the hint too, but after a while, I think you with experience understand. You know, I kind of do it with. I just want a yes or no. Just let me know. I think many of us, like I said, are scared. Um, we don't want to say no too soon. We don't want to say yes too soon. But
Until we figure
just being, I would say, being more like, when a guy slides in your DMs,
you know what that guy wants.
you know what he
If
means.
that guy puts heart emojis, you know what that guy wants.
Or let's not say what he wants, but he's interested.
You know he's interested. And let's be honest with you,
When a girl slides in your DMs, well, she's
I get tripped on.
actually, when a girl slides in my DMs, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's confusing.
But
It's all confusing.
but you can tell there's something
Yeah.
there. So I would say from the get go, you can be just straight up, hey, you know what, not right now, or hey, you know what, let's see, let's give you a chance. Like I do have a a pet peeve. I don't really enjoy when girls aren't really upfront.
They try to avoid things.
Look, like just say, and we're kind of getting to the talking stage thing, but I'm just gonna say this, and then we'll move on to the second half part. Um, just be upfront. I would say if you're talking to 10 guys, let him know if he's still gonna pursue you, then let that.
Just so them, hey, I got 3 other guys behind you. Get in line.
In front of you.
In front of you.
So get in line or move.
Or scram, you know?
Scram. So at least we know.
Yeah, at least that guy isn't wasting his time trying to get you.
Or if he is wasting time, he knows. He's gotta wait his turn.
You gotta wait his turn. You gotta play the long game.
Second half, definitely if you're gonna. So going back to the second half thing, that's a really good. That's you could already tell that that's gonna be a big convo but yeah, about the talking stage. It's definitely interesting.
That's gonna be for another podcast.
That's gonna be. It definitely has to. Maybe it might be the next one.
Might be the next one. I don't know.
But I will
it might
say,
already be recorded.
we might drop 2 on the same day.
Back to back bangers. You never know.
But I will say that we definitely have to, as you're in the talking stage, you do have to understand the person. So look, when you go to Dave and Buster's or Disney, it could be a dope place to go
to get to know them.
But I mean, you can have fun, right? You can like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to her that much, because what you gonna tell her? Like, oh, I mean, low key in
nice
Disney.
Strike.
No, low key. Actually, in Disney would be great. All I think about is roller coasters, but that line is gonna be long.
Right.
You're gonna have to talk to her about something.
You can't just be sitting there. So how was your day?
You can't just be on your. She's gonna be if she's on her phone. You lost her, man.
If she's on your phone, man, you go look for another hoe. Hey, I'm just saying, bro.
Is she on the phone?
Gotta look for another hoe.
I will say though, that line is gonna be long enough. You better have some material to talk about.
Oh man, there's a lot of material.
Like, if she's on the phone and she's not posting you,
come on, man. Yeah. Hey, honestly, at that point, just
if she's not posting the hand,
if she's not posting your hand,
the leg,
no, if she's not even tagging you, then yeah, you should run, man.
if,
Alright, I understand that girls want to keep the relationship private. All right, cool, yes, but you're also giving entrance without. If you're not tagging the guy, you're also giving other guys like
an opportunity to
an
be like, oh, he's
opportunity.
not. Nah, I will say, it depends, of course. Remember, all of this depends.
Because here's the thing, because you never know. Maybe the flowers that they gave her, or maybe her best friend gave her. Maybe. And now that other guy, he's like,
someone gave her
flowers. I'm gonna send her 2 flowers this time, right? Or maybe that guy thinks, all right, now I'm gonna do this to try to get.
I do hate when girls post flowers and they don't say if it was their friends.
Right. You never know.
And some of those girls be single, so I'd be like, no, why are you playing like someone gave you? Why are you acting like someone gave you flowers?
We all know you went to Trader Joe's and bought them yourself. We all know this.
Hey, that's.
We all know you single. Your personality. Stop playing.
I will say, bro, that's facts. That is 100% true. Because of I thought it was your personality.
Hey, I ain't throwing no one under the bus, but I have been seeing a couple.
Hey, yeah, I understand.
I ain't gonna throw no one under the bus, but goddamn, we all know you single.
There's definitely some people that I mean, we just all know you single. Just post your friend. At least we gonna know. Hey, that friend, she gets flowers.
Hey, she gets flowers, but she's not receiving flowers. So now that's when you could swipe up like, hey, how you doing?
I saw that you get flowers.
Say you get. You know what? I've never seen no one give you flowers. She's my flowers. I remember there was this one time. I'll never forget this. I was so broke, like broke, even broker than we are today. Like broke, I'm talking dirt broke. And it was the 21st of March. I didn't have enough money, so every 21st of March and September, you give out the yellow flowers.
I never understood that, but it's a national.
It's like a national not holiday, but it's a national something. Whatever.
It's a national yellow flower day. I just learned that. And, but what? You think there's like a national pink flower day?
There is. It's a purple flower. So that time I was so goddamn broke that I ended up drawing one like on notes, like a little.
You did?
I drew a sunflower and I just sent it to her. And I'm like, I'm broke. I straight up told her, I'm like, I'm broke as hell. I don't have money right now. I just want to give you a little gesture. She ended up FaceTiming me that night and we talked for like 3 hours.
Yo!
That's all it is, bro.
Hey, that could be your extraordinary act.
Yeah.
A work of art on the notes. Now, if you don't have iPhone, then you can hand draw it. Pen and paper,
That's all you need. That's all. Hey,
you'll find a way if you want her.
I know this for a fact. Everyone has a yellow highlighter at home. You just draw it out, man.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Hey, bro, if you can't even get paper or highlighter, dog, just go Google yellow flowers, screenshot it, send it to her. There you go. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Hey, that's true.
It's just facts, man.
You gotta find a way.
Hey, when there's a will, there's a how. When there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. All right, last thing. So we already talked about second half. So that's basically the whole symposium of the book. I encourage you to read it, so maybe you have a bigger understanding of how to explain what you want. I think that book really, love is such a complex thing to explain.
It's a nice thing.
You can get into examples, stages of love. Like, we're gonna get more into that. But I will say that, that book at least helps you grasp into some of the fundamental ideas that we talked about. And I don't think we could have explained love as deep had we not read the book or taken some examples from it.
And honestly, just asking. I remember I would speak to every single person I would see on my life. I would ask them, "What do you think about this?" what do you think about this? And I would get an idea, and if I liked it, or maybe I disagreed on it, but then after time I understood it, yeah, I would go for it. And I used it today many
Okay.
times, you know. So it's just asking, asking. There's a saying, preguntando se llega a Roma. So that's the only way, man. You gotta ask questions, bro. That's the only way
Exacto.
you're gonna make it.
Look, so we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna do two things. I'm gonna ask for what's your definition of love. I'm gonna go first. You're gonna give your definition, and then we're not gonna play a song, but we're just gonna say the love song that you enjoy the most or that you would dedicate to the girl.
All
All
right.
right.
I'm
So
trying to look for something.
I'm gonna go ahead and start with by defining what I think love is. Right. When they tell you what do you think is love, define it, explain it. I would say you love someone when you depend your happiness on that person or on that thing, right? There's a lot of people that they love work and that's what they're happy. If they're not at work, they're not happy. I would say if I'm not, if she doesn't make me happy, then I don't think I could say I truly love her. Um, and I don't think she can say the same thing if I don't make her happy. So I depend my happiness on that person. And you see that, you see people go into depression because they broke up because they got to a point where their happiness depended on that person, their approval, their opinion, all of that. That's what I think love is. I got that from my teacher, just like Socrates, his whole definition. He got that from someone else. I got that, and I agree with it. What do you have a definition or explanation of what you think love is?
To be honest with you, I just no correct definition of
I
what
agree.
love
Yeah,
is. So that's a very hard question in that sense.
it's tough actually. I say it now because I got asked when I was 16 years old, but
Well, for me is love isn't gonna come from someone that doesn't want to see you thrive. So love is hoping anyone and everything and everyone the best, hoping to see them thrive, hoping to see them succeed, hoping to see them shine like the stars they are. Because that's what they are. They're stars, you
that's
know.
true. Yeah,
So I think love is honestly the hardest thing to give, but the hardest thing to obtain. But it's also the most beautiful thing to obtain. It's like one of those things that, like in a war, right? Everyone's super happy after they won the war, the fight, the battle, because they know how hard it took them to
right.
beat the adversary or whatever.
Yeah,
Same thing with love. You're so happy when you have love because you know how long it took you. You know how much time, dedication, hours it took you to be there, to get there, to get to that person. I think that would be the best explanation I have for love.
okay. Now let's do the music.
Damn, I have.
Now look, the reason why I say music is because when we think about love, we have a love song, right? That we have not only a love song, but we have love songs, playlists even.
Making one
And
right now.
and I will say that a song that describes love or a song that gives a type of love feeling or a feeling of love, the song that you play is like, oh, that sounds like someone's in love. I will say because love is really hard to define. Many of you are gonna say you can't really define love. You can just show it, right? You can't really express it. So I will go ahead and say the love song for me that I'm gonna choose is not a song that has lyrics. It's classical music. It's by Tchaikovsky. He's a Russian classical composer. He composed the Nutcracker, and from the Nutcracker, he has a very beautiful song or a very beautiful music piece called Paz de Deus, or it might have, yeah, Paz Deus. So it's a dance for two. In other words, in the English translation, a dance for two. And if you just hit play, you're gonna it just takes you into this whole world of a loving moment. And yeah, in the song I will say that it also gives you some of those So if I can just maybe sing it rhythmically, like dun dun dun. So it just there's also moments where like
we'll put a clip right here.
yeah, actually I don't think we get copyright with it because it's classical,
Who cares,
but
man? We get paid regardless.
but well, oh, we just asked the orchestra to.
Play for us real
Nah,
quick.
but look, it has parts. It just takes you into this whole thing where it starts smooth and then it does get strong. And I think that goes with love. Yeah, you gotta fight for love as well. You gotta make sure you go ahead and get that girl. You're gonna have to. So it gives you all the whole stages of maybe getting a person, getting a girl that you love, getting a guy that you might love. For our female audience. Anyways, that's a song I'm gonna go with. Tchaikovsky, Deus from the Nutcracker. David, what song?
There's so many that just go through my mind.
There's a lot, man.
There is.
And the reason it's harder to pick a song that has lyrics is because there's so many poems and lyrics out there.
There's so many lyrics. I mean, brother, you go from chante, you go to banda, you go to even corridos have like love songs now. Which
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of, but this is one song. I think this would be the best one for me. Nueva Marca from el álbum El Traje, what's it called? El Traje Naranja. The song Siempre a Tu Lado. I think that song is honestly one of my favorite ones. If I was to dedicate that song, it would probably be that one. If they like banda, if they don't, I don't care. I'll still dedicate it. So I think it would be that song.
When you hear that song, what goes through your mind?
Man, dude, it just honestly, she just comes up to mind.
Yeah, the girl.
She just comes up to mind.
Yeah.
It's like because the song, it's basically making a promise. It says, I'll even put some. I can't put it, but I'll put the lyrics and the lyrics.
Yeah, just put the lyrics.
The lyrics. It says right here.
Everyone has a love playlist. Everybody has a love song, and you know what's crazy? Those love songs you don't really share them with anyone, but yourself. When you're by yourself in the car, in my experience. But I love sharing. Love songs.
Because it just says, pido a Dios que cuide nuestro camino, que cumplamos el sueño que prometimos y que ese amor nos dure para siempre. Amor me cambió la vida y eso quiero agradecerte. Quiero siempre estar a tu lado y así quiero envejecerme. So it's just making a promise that I want to be with that person. And I feel like that's something that many people aren't committed to because they want to explore life. They want to still see life. But I know what I want. I know who I want. So I think that's the best song for me, honestly.
Cool. All right, man. Hey, this was fun. This was a great conversation. We're gonna end it right here.